A Speech to the Officers by Alexander the Great. O Macedonians and Grecian allies, seeing that you no longer follow me into dangerous enterprises, with a resolution equal to that which formerly animated you, I have collected you together into the same spot, so that I may either persuade you to march forward with me, or may be persuaded by you to return. If indeed the labors, which you have already undergone up to our present position, seem to you worthy of disapprobation, and if you do not approve of my leading you into them, there can be no advantage in my speaking any further. But if, as the result of these labors, you hold possession of Ionia, the Hellespont, both the Phrygias, Cappadocia, Paphlagonia, Lydia, Caria, Lycia, Pamphylia, Phoenicia, Egypt, together with Grecian Libya, as well as part of Arabia, hollow Syria, Syria between the rivers, Babylon, the nation of the Scythians, Persia, Media, besides all the nations which the Persians and the Medes ruled, and many of those which they did not rule, the land beyond the Caspian Gates, the country beyond the Caucasus, the Tanais, as well as the land beyond that river, Bactria, Hyrcania, and the Hyrcanian Sea. If we have also subdued the Scythians as far as the desert, if, in addition to these, the river Indus flows through our territory, as do also the Hydaspes, the Acesines, and the Hydraotes, why do ye shrink from adding the Hyphasis also, and the nations beyond this river, to your empire of Macedonia? Do ye fear that your advance will be stopped in the future by any other barbarians, of whom some submit to us of their own accord, and others are captured in the act of fleeing, while others, succeeding in their efforts to escape, hand over to us their deserted land, which we add to that of our allies, or to that of those who have voluntarily submitted to us? I, for my part, think that to a brave man there is no end to labors, except the labors themselves, provided they lead to glorious achievements. But if anyone desires to hear what will be the end to our warfare itself, let him learn that the distance still remaining before we reach the river Ganges and the eastern sea is not great, and I inform you that the Hyrcanian Sea will be seen to be united with this, because the great sea encircles the whole earth. I will also demonstrate, both to the Macedonians and to the Grecian allies, that the Indian Gulf is confluent with the Persian, and the Hyrcanian Sea with the Indian Gulf. From the Persian Gulf, our expedition will sail round into Libya as far as the Pillars of Heracles. From the Pillars, all the interior of Libya becomes ours, and so the whole of Asia will belong to us. And the limits of our empire in that direction will be those which God has made also the limits of the earth. But if we now return, many warlike nations are left unconquered beyond the Hyphasis as far as the eastern sea, and many besides, between these and Hyrcania, in the direction of the north wind, and not far from these the Scythian races. Wherefore, if we go back, there is reason to fear that the races, which are now held in subjection, not being firm in their allegiance, may be excited to revolt by those who are not yet subdued. Then our many labors will prove to have been in vain, or it will be necessary for us to incur over again fresh labors and dangers, as at the beginning. But, O Macedonians and Grecian allies, stand firm! Glorious are the deeds of those who undergo labor and run the risk of danger, and it is delightful to live a life of valor and to die leaving behind immortal glory. Do ye not know that our ancestor reached so great a height of glory as from being a man to become a god, or to seem to become one, not by remaining in Tiryns, or Argos, or even in the Peloponnese, or at Thebes? The labors of Dionysus were not few, and he was too exalted a deity to be compared with Heracles. But we, indeed, have penetrated into regions beyond Nysa, and the rock of Aornus, which Heracles was unable to capture, is in our possession. Do ye also add the parts of Asia, still left unsubdued, to those already acquired, the few to the many. But what great or glorious deed could we have performed if, sitting at ease in Macedonia, we had thought it sufficient to preserve our own country without any labor, simply repelling the attacks of the nations on our frontiers, the Thracians, Illyrians, and Triballians, or even those Greeks who were unfriendly to our interests? If, indeed, without undergoing labor, and being free from danger, I were acting as your commander, while you were undergoing labor and incurring danger, not without reason would you be growing faint in spirit and resolution, because you alone would be sharing the labors, while procuring the rewards of them for others. But now the labors are common to you and me. We have an equal share of the dangers, and the rewards are open to the free competition of all, for the land is yours, and you act as its viceroys. The greater part also of the money now comes to you, and when we have traversed the whole of Asia, then, by Zeus, not merely having satisfied your expectations, but having even exceeded the advantages which each man hopes to receive, those of you who wish to return home, I will send back to their own land, or I will myself lead them back, while those who remain here I will make objects of envy to those who go back.